Have you ever felt like no matter who you talk to, it just seems like rarely anyone has the need to do business? You ever feel like you're just playing the quote unquote numbers game that a lot of salespeople fall into the trap of doing? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a couple ways to improve your prospecting strategies. The reason why you feel like you're playing the numbers game, or the reason why you feel like even if you talk to, let's say, 10 people, maybe one, if you're lucky, actually is interested in what you have to talk about, or interested in actually applying to see what numbers that they qualify for. And the main purpose is, I already mentioned, the misconception that salespeople have in thinking that it's a numbers game, when in all reality, you have a way to improve the odds of you capturing more people that you actually talk to. And it has to do with regards to your prospecting strategy. Let me explain. So right now, as I'm shooting this video, we're towards the tail end of October in 2023. So you know that the average interest rate right now is about 8.5%. That's right, 8.5%. Depending on when you're catching this video, the market may have already improved, but regardless, the lessons within is gonna apply to any market. What do we know? So we know that the fact that the current interest rates are very high, and what does that mean? So what that means is that actually shuts off a good majority of people who are homeowners, right? And I'll explain how this applies to purchase in just a second. But when it applies to like homeowners who already own a home, who may have a need to pull out the equity since their property values increased, we have to really kind of do specific targeting. Let's say you have 10, 20, 50, 100 leads, right, that you're contacting. Who is your primary prospect? Who is your ideal audience to talk to in order to actually give yourself a chance to create a deal out of it? Well, what I do know is that if you have a 2.5% interest rate from the pandemic, or you're in the low threes, hell, even right now, if you're even in the low fours or fives for that matter, it's going to be very hard to convince you to increase that interest rate if you're only looking to pay maybe $5,000 in credit card debt off, or if you're looking to even do home improvements, for example. So who is the ideal audience? The ideal audience is not Mr. Jones with a 780 FICO, has no debt, has a good amount of cash reserves and cash flow, and they're sitting at 3.25. And you might think, but D, I can maybe shorten their term. Sure, that'd be a noble try, but the likelihood of you running into a roadblock, I mean, it's astronomical. It's like you're convincing someone that the sky is red when of course it's blue. So what do? What we do is we take control of this quote unquote numbers game and we put it more in our favor. It's almost like a cheat code. It's like counting cards at the casino. Well, how you do it is you first have to position yourself that gives you the highest chance of getting return on your efforts, getting return on the blocks, the call blocks that you have scheduled in your day, making sure that whomever you talk to, likelihood of them actually wanting to hear what you have to talk about or show them what you mean is going to be great. Who is the ideal audience right now in this current market? The ideal person is someone who is living check to check. Maybe someone who is south of 680 FICO. I mean, even at 720 FICO for that matter, right? Because the LLPAs change. If you don't know what LLPAs mean, that means loan level pricing adjustments. So that's changed, meaning that your loan to value ratio and credit score hits have become greater. Of course, it doesn't necessarily apply to first-time home buyers or purchase loans, but nonetheless, it's all a matter of understanding the lay of the land. You have to understand kind of what value you bring and who your target audience is. And so going back to the target audience, maybe it's and I'll use this for reference because you know what I mean. It's Mr. Patel who has less than a 680 FICO, who has over $25,000, $30,000, $45,000 of debt, whose debt to income ratio from a gross aspect exceeds 60% or 50% unless they pay off the debts to qualify for the loan. Because we already know that they don't bring home the gross income, right? They don't bring home the gross amount that you see on the paycheck. However, our debt to income ratios are based off that gross. Problem is though, is that they only bring home about maybe 65 to upwards of 70% of that gross income, which then explodes that DTI when you actually look at what it is compared to their bring home. So if you have, in other words, if you have a homeowner who's currently sitting at a DTI of, let's say, 55% debt to income ratio off their gross, and that's before you pay off the debt, or even after you pay off the debt. That is your ideal person. It's not Mr. Jones whose current debt to income ratio on their gross is like 25%, 30%, because there's no need. So those are little targets that you can really put in place to increase your odds of getting traction, of gaining momentum, of actually converting an application into a submitted deal that you lock in, of course, intentionally fund. How does this apply to purchase? The purchase market, right? Of course, with the high interest rates, it's very difficult to acquire a property. So what do you hear your prospects saying? Oh, D, I think right now we're just gonna wait until home values drop. We're just gonna wait until the market rate drops. But here's a comeback or a rebuttal that you can actually say to them. Well, do you remember, Mr. Jones, that in just 2 years ago, 2001, 2020, during the pandemic, when the rates dropped, values skyrocketed. Now, fast forward to current time, values still stayed up, but the rates went up. What that means is that with the interest rates, you can always negotiate the interest rate. What you can't negotiate is the purchase price. If a homeowner buys a property, let's say at $700,000, and the average interest rate is at 8.5%, what do you think the value of $700,000 is gonna do when the rates drop back down to 4.5%? That value is going to go up, simply because the supply of demand, right? So the inventory is going to become greater. So there's going to be more options. And of course, because money will be cheaper to borrow at that time, that's just going to make it easier for sales transactions to clear. So how does that translate to your prospect? Well, it means that you have to spend time with prospects who have the right expectations set up. You're not really wasting your time on the adamant home buyers that are firm on believing that the property values are going to drop. They believe that they need to wait until the interest rates drop down. Now, of course, I've prepared you, I've armed you with the right information to inform them so you could set up with the right expectation to ensure that you're not burning your time, nor are you burning your referral partner's time. So it's all about understanding the audience, guys. Please comment below, whether you're a purchase agent or you're doing refinances. Does this make sense to you? Have you also encountered, maybe implemented somewhat of the similar strategy, and you're seeing a huge return on your efforts? And the primary reason is because you're not just playing the numbers game. You're not blind dialing, I like to call it, because you're actually focused on who you're going after. Again, the main priority of every day, the primary goal of every single day, is that you need to find someone who has a need. That is a true lead. A lead is not just a name, a phone number, and an email, right? That's not a lead. A qualified lead is really where you want to spend your time, especially in markets like this, because with that qualified lead, you have something to talk about. You have substance in your conversation. You have motive from the prospect to learn and comply with what you need to actually convert that application into a potential deal. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me one solid, actually do me two, and pay the dues. One, like the video, and two, share it with someone else who's either in purchase or doing primarily refinances. Make sure that they're not wasting their time, they're not playing the numbers game, and watch both of you win. I'll see you on the next video. Now it's your time to hit the thumbs up if this video helped you. I love engaging with you in the comment section below. Lastly, please share this video with someone else that can benefit from this topic. Thanks for subscribing. Look out for the notification for my next video, and I'll see you there.